The entire courtroom froze. Doug Christie's younger brother, Reggie, stood at the witness stand, eyes locked on the judge, voice shaking as he said the words no one expected. "I believe the child is biologically mine." Gasps echoed from the gallery. One woman even dropped her phone. Jackie, seated just feet away, visibly trembled. Her breath caught, and then her eyes darted toward Reggie, then Doug. Doug rose to his feet, slamming his palm on the table. "What are you talking about, Reggie?" The bailiff stepped forward. The judge raised a hand, motioning for calm. But the room was already spinning. From the back row, a muffled sob was heard, followed by Jackie's haunting voice, barely above a whisper, "You were my husband's brother." And just like that, the illusion shattered. The image of a tight-knit family, loyal bonds, and a picture-perfect marriage crumbled right in front of them. Cameras weren't allowed inside the courtroom, but someone close to the family leaked an audio recording. Within hours, the clip spread like wildfire across social media. The betrayal was brutal. The implication, even worse. Because if what Reggie claimed was true, then Jackie, the same Jackie who once called Doug her forever on national television, had not only lied for years, she had potentially hidden a child from both men. That child was now 7 years old, the same age as Jackie's supposed miracle baby, the one she tearfully introduced on the reel nearly a decade ago. Doug had believed he was the father. Until now, and as this courtroom bombshell detonated, every eye turned toward Jackie, the woman who had always stood by her man, always spoken of loyalty, always defended her marriage with ferocity. But today, there were no defenses, no prepared statements, no rehearsed smiles, only shock, only silence, only Reggie standing tall, finally ready to tell the truth. How did it come to this? How did a quiet family dispute explode into a public scandal that would shake the internet to its core? This wasn't just a betrayal. It was blood deep, and it all began years earlier with a secret affair, a suspicious pregnancy, and a lie that refused to stay buried. Let's rewind, because before the collapse came the illusion of perfection. For over 2 decades, Jackie and Doug Christie were the blueprint, the couple that weathered every storm, the reality TV royalty who held hands on red carpets and exchanged "I love yous" on national television. As if they were alone in the world, people didn't just admire their love, they believed in it. In a world where celebrity marriages folded like napkins, Jackie and Doug stood tall, or so we thought. From basketball wives to marriage boot camp, their public narrative was airtight. Doug was the ever-devoted husband, the man who called Jackie his queen. Jackie was the ride-or-die wife who fiercely defended her marriage against castmates, critics, and cameras. But behind the cameras, the fairy tale was starting to crack. Whispers had been floating through the Bravo and VH1 Carters for years. Jackie showing up to events alone, Doug reportedly too busy coaching to make family reunions. And when Jackie began publicly feuding with multiple basketball wives cast members, even the ones who once defended her, fans started asking the question no one wanted to say out loud: what exactly was Jackie trying to protect? The first real red flag, 3 years ago. Jackie suddenly vanished from filming. Producers claimed she was dealing with health issues. Fans offered prayers and well wishes. Doug, notably, said nothing. No post, no statement, not even a simple "she's okay." Instead, Jackie posted a cryptic Instagram story weeks later. Just one sentence on a black screen: "You don't know what I've survived," and then silence. No explanation, no interviews. She returned to the show the following season as if nothing had happened, but something had changed behind the scenes. People noticed her energy shift. More guarded, more intense, less quick to joke, quicker to lash out. At one point during a reunion taping, she turned to a castmate and said under her breath, "I'd burn my whole life down before I let them find out." No one understood what that meant, not then, but now, in hindsight, that line feels like a scream for help. Jackie and Doug's love story, the one plastered on tabloids and filtered through talk show interviews, wasn't the full picture. It was a carefully curated frame, hiding fractures too painful to face. Multiple sources, including one very close to production, now claim that during her off-season absence, Jackie was involved in a very private matter. Not medical, not mental health, something else entirely, a life-altering event, as one insider phrased it. Something that could shatter her brand and his. And now, with Doug's brother stepping into the courtroom spotlight, and whispers of a secret child surfacing, everything is unraveling in public. Just like Jackie always feared, she spent years protecting the illusion, but illusions, no matter how glamorous, always fade under the harsh light of truth. And the next section? That light is about to get blinding. It started with a whisper, a soft, sinister buzz behind closed doors that quickly turned into a full-blown storm online. One anonymous Reddit post. That's all it took. A user claiming to be a former family assistant to Jackie Christie dropped a bombshell. Jackie had a baby, but not with Doug, with his brother. The internet froze. At first, no one knew what to make of it. Was this just another troll, a disgruntled ex-employee looking for clout? But then came the photos. Side-by-side comparison shots. Doug Christie's younger brother, Reggie Christie, who'd mostly stayed out of the limelight, was suddenly front and center on TikTok slideshows. Next to him, a picture of a mysterious baby. The captions were merciless. Tell me this baby ain't Reggie's twin. Doug gotta be blind or in denial. Jackie, girls, explained this. It exploded overnight. Multiple TikTok creators with millions of followers jumped on it. They zoomed in on the baby's nose, the eyes, even the ear shape. People claimed they found old clips of Reggie helping Jackie move boxes into a storage unit during the time she was supposedly taking a spiritual retreat. And then, a now-deleted tweet resurfaced from Jackie's burner account from last year. It read, "Sometimes God sends you the right man at the wrong time." One user responded, "She wasn't talking about Doug." The whispers turned into screams. Jackie's rep issued a brief, cold denial to Page 6. This is yet another sick internet rumor fabricated by trolls. Mrs. Christie has not had a child in recent years, nor does she entertain this level of filth, but it was already too late. The damage was done because behind the scenes, the whispers had already reached Doug. And that's when fans noticed something chilling. Doug hadn't been wearing his wedding ring for months. In recent courtside appearances, no ring. At charity events, bare hand. Even during his ESPN interviews, eagle-eyed viewers pointed out his hand was always conveniently tucked into his jacket pocket. Coincidence or cover-up? Bloggers posted side-by-sides of old footage showing Doug constantly touching his ring, fidgeting with it, smiling. Compared to his most recent appearance, a flat expression, eyes distant, shoulders heavy. Someone close to the family who chose to remain anonymous for safety reasons told the Shade Floor, "Doug's been spiraling. He doesn't trust anyone right now, not even his own blood." The phrasing hit hard. Not even his own blood, because as the TikTok detectives kept digging, they found out something even more disturbing. Doug and Reggie had a fallout years ago over a woman. That woman, a mutual friend who eerily resembles Jackie. At the time, it was dismissed as drama. Now, it looked like foreshadowing. Reggie had always kept a low profile. He rarely did interviews. No red carpets, no social media. But in a grainy video taken outside a gym in Sacramento, a paparazzo asked Reggie directly, "Is it true, ma'am? Is the baby yours?" Reggie paused, smiled nervously, and said, "I don't know what y'all talking about. Ask her." He got in his car, drove off, but the smirk on his face went viral. Fans began piecing it all together. Suddenly, Jackie's timeline didn't add up. The trip to Costa Rica, the hospital stay that was just for exhaustion, her yoga retreat that lined up exactly with Reggie's visit to the same area. It wasn't just messy. It was surgical, and someone, maybe that former assistant, was out for blood. By the time Reggie's name started trending on X, formerly Twitter, the narrative had already shifted. This wasn't just infidelity. This was a family betrayal of biblical proportions. Jackie had reportedly blocked multiple friends who messaged her privately about the rumors. Her Instagram comments were limited. She stopped showing her face on camera. And Doug? Still no ring. The silence spoke volumes. But just when it seemed the dust might settle, someone leaked a voicemail. A muffled recording, Jackie's voice shaky and breathless, saying, "We both knew what this was. Reggie, don't act brand new now." The internet shattered. Because if that clip was real, it meant one thing: she wasn't denying it anymore. The world was still catching its breath from the courtroom bombshells when a new leak detonated across the internet like a nuclear emotional weapon. A voicemail, gritty, grainy, unmistakably raw, hit the blogs like a wrecking ball through stained glass. It was Jackie's voice. Shaky, broken, vulnerable. "I know it was wrong, but Reggie made me feel loved when Doug wouldn't even look at me. That was all it took." One sentence, whispered in the dark. And suddenly the entire internet was lit up like Times Square on New Year's Eve. The Shade Room? Flooded. Hollywood unlocked, already editing memes and TikTok. Girl, the drama didn't even need captions. The recording wasn't supposed to exist. Sources say it came from a discarded burner phone Reggie once used during their alleged affair, found by a cousin of Malaysia who'd been snooping after catching wind of the courtroom whispers. They uploaded it to a private Discord chat, but within hours, it was everywhere. And it didn't stop there. Because then, a second audio clip dropped. This time Doug's voice. No mistaking that deep, trembling baritone shaking with rage and disbelief. "Tell me that baby ain't his, Jackie. Tell me." You could hear the sound of furniture breaking in the background. You could hear the pain. You could hear the collapse of a marriage that once stood like a fortress in front of cameras. but now cracked open like a rotted stage set. Doug didn't wait. He didn't flinch. He walked straight into court that Friday morning and filed an emergency motion for paternity clarification. Even the judge seemed taken aback. Paparazzi were banned from the courtroom, but leaked sketches showed Jackie in sunglasses and a scarf shielding her face, while Doug refused to even look her way. Reggie? Nowhere to be found. His Instagram deactivated, his PR team silent, and rumors swirling that he'd fled to Atlanta to avoid subpoenas. Public reaction was nuclear, not Reggie being the baby daddy and the brother-in-law. One user tweeted, "Jackie really said family reunion and meant it." Another posted, "This voicemail ruined my lunch break. I need therapy." Went viral within an hour. TikTokers reenacted the audio like it was a monologue from a Tyler Perry movie. Someone even turned Jackie's confession into a slow R&B remix, and it charted on SoundCloud for 2 straight days. Meanwhile, Jackie disappeared. Her team told TMZ she was emotionally unwell and needed privacy to process these attacks. But insiders said she was holed up in a Beverly Hills condo surrounded by her sisters, pacing the floor, completely unraveling. She hadn't eaten in days. She hadn't spoken to her daughters, and Doug, he allegedly packed her things into a moving truck without a word, changed the locks, and posted a single cryptic message on his Instagram story: "A lie will sprint, but the truth walks you down." But here's the twist nobody saw coming. The voicemail had a timestamp, and that timestamp proved something even uglier. Jackie left that message 2 weeks before her public vow renewal ceremony with Doug, the same event she'd invited friends, family, and even Doug's mother to attend. So when she was holding Doug's hand at the altar, smiling through tears, swearing he was her forever, she had already told Reggie he made her feel more loved than her husband ever could. And that's when the real storm hit, because this wasn't just an affair. This wasn't just betrayal, this was a strategically hidden double life, and now every messy piece of it was on display. But while the internet was tearing Jackie apart, nobody noticed what Doug was doing quietly behind the scenes, because what came next wouldn't just shatter the marriage. It would flip the entire family upside down. The courtroom was dead silent, the kind of silence that feels heavy, like the air itself was waiting to explode. Everyone's eyes were on the witness stand. Doug Christie's brother, Reggie, stood tall but visibly trembling. His hands shook slightly as he adjusted the mic. Then came the words no one expected. "We were together for months, behind closed doors. That baby could be mine." Gasps echoed through the room like a wave crashing on concrete. Jackie froze. Doug blinked once, then didn't move again. For weeks, rumors had swirled, but no one expected Reggie to come clean on the record, under oath, in front of Doug, in front of Jackie, in front of the world. Jackie's lips parted, but no sound came out. The judge leaned forward. Doug's lawyer didn't miss a beat. He demanded clarity. Reggie responded with a deep, shaky breath. "She told me she wasn't happy with Doug. She said they were just existing. I didn't plan to fall for her, but I did. And when she got pregnant, she told me there was a chance." In that moment, Doug's face crumbled. You could see it. The years of loyalty, the decades of marriage, the public declarations of unbreakable love, all shattering in real time. Jackie suddenly slammed her fist on the table. "Stop it, just stop it," she yelled, her voice rising like a siren. The judge called for order. Jackie stood, hands trembling, her eyes wild with fury and pain. "I was lonely. You don't know what it's like to be invisible in your own marriage." Doug didn't even flinch. He just stared at her, the corners of his eyes glistening. Jackie turned to the crowd, to the press, to the cameras. "You all think I'm a monster, but I was a woman starving for love. He gave me attention. Doug gave me silence." Reggie turned his gaze to the ground. The courtroom doors opened. A clerk entered, holding a sealed envelope. The DNA results were in. This was it. The judge opened the file, eyes scanning. A beat passed, then 2, then 3. The DNA test confirms, with 99.97% certainty, that Douglas Christie is the biological father of the child. Reggie exhaled sharply, a quiet, breathless laugh. "Then I was a fool," he muttered. "For years, I thought she had my child." Jackie collapsed back into her seat, her face in her hands, sobbing so loudly that even the stenographer wiped away a tear. Doug stood up slowly. He didn't say a word, didn't look at his wife, didn't look at his brother. He just walked out. The sound of his shoes against the tile floor echoed like a death toll for a family that would never be the same again. Jackie tried to follow, reaching out, whispering his name. But Doug didn't turn back, not once. Reggie sat still, paralyzed, destroyed. Court officers helped Jackie stand as she struggled to breathe through her sobs. One reporter whispered, "This wasn't just a scandal, this was a tragedy." But it wasn't over. As Jackie was escorted out, someone close to the family, who requested anonymity, told the press, Jackie might have lost her husband, but she's hiding another secret. And if that one comes out, this whole courtroom stunt will look like a warm-up. The courtroom hadn't even cleared before the internet caught fire. Clips of Jackie's breakdown, the scream, the confession, the moment she yelled, "I was lonely," were already trending under hashtag Jackie Confesses and hashtag DougDNA. TikTok users were reenacting the scene within hours. Some added dramatic violin music. Others lip-synced Jackie's meltdown word dash for dash word. It was no longer just a courtroom drama. It was pop culture. Back at the courthouse, cameras hounded Doug as he exited through a side door. He didn't say a word. No glance toward Jackie, no reaction to the reporters yelling questions. Just silence. And a clenched jaw. Sources close to Doug say he went straight from the courthouse to a private hangar. By 7 p.m. Flight logs showed a Christie family jet leaving for an undisclosed location in the Bahamas. Doug had disappeared. Jackie, meanwhile, was taken out of the courtroom through a back entrance, not for legal reasons, but because security feared she'd be mobbed. She was seen sobbing uncontrollably, carried by 2 court staffers and barely able to stand. One insider described the moment. She looked like she had just lost everything. You could hear her whispering, "He'll never forgive me," over and over. And they were holding hands. Next up, will Doug ever speak out? Is Jackie really done with the Christies? And what is Malaysia hiding? Stay tuned, because this story, it's just getting started. The courtroom was still echoing from Jackie's screams when the cameras cut. Doug didn't look back. Not once. He walked right out of that courthouse like a man carrying every betrayal on his back. No reporters, no family, no words, just a storm behind his eyes. Jackie, meanwhile, had to be helped to her feet, her mascara streaked down her face, her hands shaking as security cleared the room. Within minutes, the footage was everywhere. Clips of Jackie's breakdown hit Twitter like wildfire. One video of her screaming, "I was lonely," racked up over 10 million views in 3 hours. TikTok remixes turned it into a viral audio. Memes poured in, some cruel, some heartbroken. Red carpet photos of Doug and Jackie from just last year were suddenly being reposted with captions like, "She had everything and still chose chaos." The betrayal wasn't just between husband and wife anymore. It was between celebrity and public. Jackie's fan pages went private, comments were locked. The few she left open were flooded. "You had Doug and his brother, that poor child. What now? Sis needs prayer and therapy." Then she disappeared. No one saw Jackie for 6 straight days. No Instagram lives, no cryptic tweets, no paparazzi shots leaving Erewhon. It was like she vanished into smoke. A source close to the family told a gossip blog, "Jackie's not taking this well. She feels betrayed by both men. She never meant for it to go public. She's not okay," but others weren't buying the sympathy. Especially when an old interview clip resurfaced, Jackie on a panel, joking about keeping secrets to stay in power. The internet ate it up. That clip alone became the #1 trending Twitter post for 48 hours. Meanwhile, Reggie, Doug's brother, posted a single quote to his Instagram story: "Sometimes telling the truth doesn't set you free. It sets fire to everything." Fans were split. Some praised him for coming forward. Others dragged him for staying silent all these years. But the most deafening silence, Doug. No statement, no interview, not even a like on social media. One reporter claimed he was seen boarding a flight to Italy alone. Another said he'd been in deep talks with divorce attorneys, but nothing was confirmed. And then, just as things seemed to be cooling down, an anonymous Reddit user claiming to work in family court dropped a bombshell: "This case isn't over, there's another sealed file, and another man might be involved." The post was quickly deleted, but screenshots never died. By nightfall, hashtag another man was trending across 3 platforms. And just like that, the scandal that should have ended in court had only just begun. Next up, a mystery name appears on the witness list, and Jackie's past might be darker than anyone thought.